Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Herb Anderson, and on behalf of PURYEAR Strong, the organization here locally that's put this evening together, I want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking an interest in our town, our community, and its future. So good to have you here. Relax, enjoy the evening, and let's hear what the candidates have to say. I have been asked to open the meeting with a prayer, so we will do that as we pray with him. Father God, we want to thank you tonight for the opportunity to gather a free nation, to have a hand in making ourselves familiar with the people who aspire to lead us here in our local community. Thank you for the city of PURYEAR. Thank you for the place that we live and work, the place we get our schooling for the kids, and in some cases where we enjoy our retirement. Whatever it is, God, we're glad that we can contribute to this community, and we look forward to hearing what these candidates have to say, whether for mayor or for alderman. And we ask that this night would somehow result in a better town going forward. These things we ask in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Would you stand with me, please? And we'll face the flag and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this point, we're going to turn the evening over to our moderator, Mr. Michael Williams, the owner and publisher of the Post-Intelligencer. Let's go.
First thing I want to do is throw the cameraman off by turning around and doing it this way instead of facing the camera. But I want to welcome everybody again being here. How you doing? Thank you for everybody being here. It says something about you and what you want for PURYEAR by showing up to something. I'm glad you're here to meet these candidates and hear what they have to say. In this forum, our primary format will be a series of pre-submitted questions for the candidates running this fall for city office. Again, I'm Michael Williams. I'm the editor of the Post-Intelligencer, and I hope everything goes well. We're going to try to keep this very positive tonight. So we're going to get started now. As it's already been said, PURYEAR Strong has organized this. We appreciate that. And they're hosting tonight's forum. Now, I'll try to let the candidates do a lot of the talking. That's what you want to hear. But being a newspaper editor, I'm just full of editorial opinions. I know I'll have to put in my 2 cents worth every now and then. And here goes my first rant of the night. A lot of small towns in this area will never admit it, but they're jealous of PURYEAR right now. They're jealous because of the rapid progress that's been accomplished here in the past couple of years. It's not what the PURYEAR Mayor and Board of Aldermen have done. No, it's what PURYEAR Strong has been doing. A loose-knit grassroots organization. Many of its members haven't lived here all their lives, but love this city as much as anyone else and are willing to put in the work to prove it. They're just a group of PURYEAR citizens who can get more things done around here. Like the amazing accomplishment of bringing back PURYEAR Day. Give them an applause for that. I assume that was dead and gone. We had to skip a couple of years. But that's quite an accomplishment. And it couldn't have happened without them being involved in restarting PURYEAR Lions Club. Now, Maggie and a lot of the old Lions were telling people in PURYEAR what would happen if the PURYEAR Lions Club folded, if you didn't support the PURYEAR Lions Club and get involved. We found out what happened when they closed, when that club couldn't interest people in joining the Lions Club, and it had to fold. And the disastrous result of losing PURYEAR Day. So the PURYEAR Strong was one of the groups instrumental in helping get the Lions Club going again. And restarting the Lions Club they were able to restore the insurance. Courier Lines International supplying the insurance to cover Courier Day, and that's a wonderful accomplishment. It also the club also brought together even more Courier citizens interested in doing great things in the city, like the playground pavilion that's going to be built by the National Guard. That's all. Appreciate that. Very Strong also works closely with Boy Scout Troop 226. I believe Puryear Baptist Church had the first blessing box in town. The Scouts got blessing box out at Harrison School. And Puryear Strong has added. Is it right here? I think.
Yep.
Okay. Added a third blessing box here downtown. So and then they work with the Boy Scouts in getting food and the things that they need to help put in these boxes. So that's wonderful. They also Puryear Strong also supports the Garden Keepers group here, beautifying the city. You've seen some of the flowers and things they planted, and have plans for a lot more. So it's all kinds of things that have been going on here, and from my impartial viewpoint from the newspaper, it all traces back to Puryear Strong stepping in and helping. So that is a wonderful thing. So I certainly hope the Puryear Mayor and Board of Aldermen, and indeed all the citizens of Puryear, realize how much of a blessing Puryear Strong has been and will continue to be. So let's give Puryear Strong another round of applause. But so much that happens in Puryear absolutely must go through the Puryear Mayor and Board of Aldermen, and that's why we're here tonight. These candidates are willing to spend a lot of time and energy and effort to serve in public office, to serve those who will, in essence, become their bosses, and that's y'all. Every resident and business here in Puryear, you're the bosses of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen. Y'all call the shots in the voting booth. So you're the ultimate. You have the ultimate power in Puryear. Just like my newspaper, I may own a newspaper, but it's the readers who have the ultimate power. The advertisers and readers actually decide whether I stay in business or not, and that's the way it is here. It's the people of Puryear. You've got to know what's going on. You've got to know what your Mayor and Board of Aldermen are doing. And I appreciate every one of y'all being here tonight. All right? That's the end of my first rant. Okay. Now then, I'm going to sit back down. You only see my backside, and my wife says that's my best side anyway. Okay, so let's meet the candidates. And I'll ask y'all to please stand when I call your name. Running for mayor are two gentlemen, Kenny Ray Gallimore and Tommy Roberts. Appreciate it, fellas. You can sit down. 4 people are hoping to earn one of 2 city alderman positions to be filled in the November 5 election. They are Ruth Reno Anderson, Ricky Hughes, Dale King, and Mark Moore. Appreciate everyone being willing to run for office, and thank you for being here tonight. There's another name on the ballot, George Haynes. His name he was running. He withdrew, but it was after the ballots were printed. So his name will be on the ballot. But if you vote for George Haynes, your vote's not going to count in essence. And camera guy wants them to stand when they answer questions. Now I just told them they could sit.
No, it's okay.
They
could sit. They could sit.
All right. Okay. And finally, running on the poll store, as your city reporter is Verla Smith, and I wish she was here tonight. I think the world of Verla. I'm partial. She is this town's main by default, she's the main spokesman for PURYEAR. When somebody needs something, when the PI needs something, I call Verla and get the information. She's your goodwill ambassador. She greets people when they come to town. All these kind of things. She does 100 different things. She's a remarkable lady, and we appreciate her. And hope you, even though she's running unopposed, I'll put in a plug. I hope you vote for her. That's the only one I can be partial about. Okay. Now then. So, sorry, you're gonna have to stand and hold that microphone. Is that right?
No, you can sit.
Okay, you can sit. Okay,
Changed it.
it's your choice whether you sit or stand. Everybody's always stand. So, and hopefully everybody can see the names in front of them there. But I'm going to call on each candidate to stand and introduce yourself. Tell us why you're running for office and what your qualifications are to get the job done. And you will each have 2 minutes for this. And my timer is over here. She's gonna start a timer. And she's got 2 pieces of paper to hold up. One says 30, and that means you got 30 seconds left to wrap it up. So you're gonna have 2 minutes. So after a minute and a half, she's gonna hold this up. And then the next one is gonna be, says 10. You get 10 seconds. And then I start saying, okay, time to wrap it up. Sit down. Okay. That's format. That's where we're going to answer these questions. Now, I have warned Tommy Roberts. I was going to call on him first. So, Tommy, introduce yourself. Why you're running for office? What your qualifications are to get the job done.
Tommy Roberts. I'm running for mayor of PURYEAR. I've lived in PURYEAR going on 9 years now. I obviously think there's a lot of room for improvements and changes. I would like to be part of that change. I spent the biggest part of my life in law enforcement. Can you hear me? I spent the biggest part of my life in law enforcement in Henry County and Whately County Sheriff's Department. I've worked on both 24th, 27th District of Task Force. I've been a police advisor at Iraq and Afghanistan for several years. I worked for Special Response Homeland Security. I did it in County High School, UT Martin. I also taught a continuing education class at Martin. My family been in PURYEAR all my life. I've been here. Been on the fire department, immediate family, extended family, both now in the fire department. Also, people I consider family. Pretty much, I'd love to be next mayor of PURYEAR. Thank you.
Down to Kenny Gallagher.
Hello, my name is Kenny Gallimore. I was born and raised here in PURYEAR, been here all my life. Graduated Henry County High School in 1976. My family's been associated with PURYEAR off and on for years. My uncle was mayor for a long time. I'm just an ordinary person. I like to think hard to do better.
Very good.
Just common, everyday person. I like to talk and I've worked for myself for years and made it pretty well. I guess all right. So it's like that. I've had people several years ask me to run, and I wouldn't call him Mr. David. But I'm talking about it. He didn't run this year. I tried. Like Jackie Ball.
Thanks, sir. Microphone all the way down to Mark Moore next. I didn't realize the thing. I thought it was good. Right in order. With all of them. Sorry about that. We started there.
My name's Mark Moore. I was born and raised here in PURYEAR. Of course, the good old PURYEAR school over here. I graduated, went to Henry County High School, and I attended Buffalo University. little bit about me. I spent 6 years in retail management. Then I went into property management. Now I'm riding around selling people roofies, so you know. I am currently a lieutenant of the Prairie Fire Department. Uh, really enjoy my family with the fire department. We enjoy what we do. Do our best to take care of everybody here in Prairie. I do see several areas of improvement in the town. I feel like in a little way it's been kind of stuck in a rut. It's about time to get out of the rut. So I would appreciate anybody's vote come the election in November. Thank you.
I'm Dale King. That on? Yeah. Okay. I'm Dale King. I lived in this town for 31 years after I married my wife, Judy Hall. I guess everyone knows her. She lived here all her life. I've not got no PhD. All I am is common sense. I started a fire department 35 years ago. Today we have 5 fire trucks, 2 fire stations that my community has helped the whole community build. And I have been a part of it. I've been a board member on this for the whole time. And I believe that I could have a chance of being an alderman and using my common sense. And let's raise a little uplift for the town, for the whole town, all the people in the community, whether they're rich or poor, it doesn't matter. We just need, I believe, a little change of, of some of the things that goes on in the city hall. I've been going to that meeting for 3 years, and I'm not seeing nobody but Lori there at the meeting with me. I learned a lot by going to the meeting. I learned a lot. And I believe you people, if you would come to the meeting, you would learn about what our town here is and could do with a little help from the citizens. And if we would do that, we wouldn't have no bickering. Well, we can disagree, agree, or worse. But that's my stand. And I just want to appreciate your vote if you vote for me November 10th. My name's Ricky Hughes. I've lived here all my life. Grew up here in the corner of West Lane and Providence. Went for graduated from Henry County in 72. I worked for the city here 25 years, retired a few years ago. I was the water and waste. Kind of feel like my experience was working for the city for that long that I could be the advantage of being on the board. The city will be facing some issues with the infrastructure and years to come. They like I could be yeah. Appreciate your vote.
My name is Ruth Anderson, but my friends call me Rio. I was not born and raised in Puryear, but I've grown to love our little city. I was raised by a cowboy truck driving father and a mother who owned her own cleaning business with her sister. They taught me great values that I want to bring to the position of alderman. I've had the opportunity over the years to be involved in a lot of leadership teams, executive boards, charitable organizations, and I have always helped to make things happen in a way that always has been truthful and meets the needs of the people involved. I've worked in hospitals, medical clinics, and most recently as a chaplain. If you know me well, you know I'm a forthright person. I'm not anybody's yes woman except God's. I work well as part of a team. I strive to make sure that things are done in a way that everybody knows what's happening, and that things are always done in a fair way, fair to all people. When Tanya Roberts and a few other friends asked me to put my name up for alderman, I prayed about it. And when God asks me to do something, I always want to say, yes, God. So I'm here before you with ideas, with a fresh voice, a listening ear, with a love for God, my husband, her, my family, and my community, and a real desire to have a good influence and make a good difference in the lives of everyone in our community. Over the last few weeks, I've knocked on almost every door in PURYEAR. And if I talked to you, you gave me some good ideas. And if not, if you weren't home, then I left you a flyer for tonight. You know, PURYEAR has a history of being the sweet potato hub of the South. I'd like how you say, let's make PURYEAR a sweet spot in the South.
Thank you. All right. We're going to call on each candidate again. Please tell us, if elected, what you think your responsibilities will be for your office for serving the residents and businesses in the city of PURYEAR. You each just have 1 minute to add anything else if you want to talk about responsibilities. And we're going to start off with Kenny all the way down at the end there.
It was very difficult. I'd be willing to try to help anybody that I could. I've always tried to be forthright and honest, and I've also graded. We had a market for years in Hazel, and I understand when you're trying to run a business, I've done it all my life. Be willing to help anything any way I could. Listen to any kind of suggestion, comments, whatever.
Yes. And the topic.
Question.
Yes, sir. If elected, what do you think your responsibilities will be for your office as mayor for serving the residents and businesses of the city of PURYEAR?
Responsibilities would be to make sure that the city run as efficient and smooth as it possibly could, knowing that the mayor or whoever it might be is no better than this alderman he has under me. That's a team that makes the city run efficient. Always have open ear and open door, listening to suggestions for the public. And taking those suggestions seriously.
Thank you. Thank you. Over to Dale. Then we're going to go right down the table. So.
They're referring to about the same thing that I really feel like. Let's have a good town, good relationship with all of our neighbors, do good things for the community. The aldermen work together with the mayor because of a lot of issues that we've come up. I have been going to the meetings, like I say, for 3 years, and I've been through it. And we just need to get the town going good, and because it's time for the economy to let's go.
Yeah, there you go.
Get the good money going. Say it.
Watch out.
I ain't think those the whole development center was in the summer. Quickly, don't let it play stand. Get back. As far as my personal thing in the city, I've always been concerned about the infrastructure. But you see, that would probably be mine. And I was able to answer any questions Bob had. But I,
you know.
As an alderman, my main responsibility would be to work with the mayor as a team to help this city of ours to be the very best it can be. And that means sometimes not being a yes woman. It means sometimes asking good and tough questions. It means making sure that our minutes at the meetings are transparent and that everyone knows where our tax money is going and when we will be getting price hikes in certain areas. So it's a team effort. We have to always work together. And by team, I don't mean just the mayor and the alderman, but I mean all the people of Courier, because we have ideas of how life should be, how our community should be, and we need to work together. So I want to always, like Tommy said, have a listening ear, have a open mind, and just be willing to make this town the best it can be. It's perfect.
I feel that, first and foremost, my job will be to come with a positive attitude and respect for the community as well. Right along with what everybody else said, of course, all you guys being the residents of Prairie in the community, y'all need somebody to hold the ear and listen to you. You also need a hand to go along with it. Somebody that's going to take your concerns and needs and try to, move us along and with everybody, what's going on. That's all I got.
This isn't a race, but I'm gonna read some stuff, pretty strong passed along to me. And, being an editor, anyway, Courier is a good place to live. It has a whole lot going for it. There's always a few relatively minor things that need attention. Courier Strong has a list of such things from residents and wants to work with the city government by offering to seek out volunteers to help whittle this list down. And volunteers, that's one of the key words here. There's only so much that the Courier board and mayor aldermen can get done by themselves. Some things they have to do. There's not a large staff in city government, obviously, for attending the size of Courier. So volunteers are what can working with the government officials is what can really get things done. So they're going to help that. I believe the mayor and board of aldermen are plenty smart enough to realize the gold mine such volunteers can offer. They're just beginning improving the first impression people form when driving in Courier on Highway 641. Making it Courier and such things and repainting the welcome Courier Center. On the south side here, it really needs repainting. It's a nice sign, but needs some attention. A few other examples they have: enforcing code violations involving residential properties. That is in the Prairie Municipal Code. Keeping all street easements mowed and trimming to keep street signs and lines of sight from being obscured. Better maintaining sewer and storm drains. Straightening street signs and stop signs. Several non-residential buildings need maintenance and or repair. Removing abandoned residential buildings that are hazardous. The playground has a basketball court that is not usable. And some other equipment needs attention. Maintaining the city cemetery more often, having a regular citywide cleanup weekend, enforcing city speed limits. That was a big one. Enforcing speed limits is needed. They had that list. I wanted everybody to hear some of the things that they've heard from you that they hope to work on with the mayor and board of aldermen. Hoping some of these things you can be addressed and taken care of. I mentioned the Prairie Municipal Code. It's more than 200 pages. It was last updated August 9th, 2011. A copy is available at Courier City Hall for anybody in the public to view, but it's also accessible online. which can make it more convenient for you at home in front of the computer to call up the code and read it when you're having trouble sleeping. Whatnot. No. Read it at your leisure. um, so now, before you leave tonight, if you'll stop by this table back here, you got it up here. Wrong table. There's a printout of places where you can find the PURYEAR municipal code and a lot of other websites that might be mentioned tonight. Relevant things that you can look up, you can find things out about PURYEAR and things you might need to know. So it's always nice to take that and file that away somewhere. You don't have to write it down or anything. Just pick up a piece of paper. Okay. That municipal code is the blueprint PURYEAR government and its citizens need to keep the city running efficiently. Make sure its codes are enforced. If something's out of date, work to get it updated. So if everybody knows what the rules are, the laws for the city of PURYEAR, that helps you. And that helps you when you're addressing the mayor and board of aldermen. Code says we need to do this. I'd like us to work toward getting this done, whatever you're updating or whatever. Now, candidates, I'm going to sit down so they can see you, but I want you to raise your hand high if you've either read the PURYEAR Municipal Code or will tonight pledge to read the code between now and when you're put into office. Will everybody do that? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Very important for government officials to know what their rules are, what has been passed by the state General Assembly that PURYEAR said we want you to pass. These are the laws we want for the city of PURYEAR. So that's very important. Okay. Now, I won't have to stand up again for a minute. Okay, candidates, what do you want to, here's the next question for you. What do you want to see happen in PURYEAR during your tenure? And what do you wish to accomplish? Maintain status quo, leave well enough alone, want to make the best of what is here better, do you want to implement plans toward future growth? What is it you want to see accomplished while you're in office? And this time, I think we start with Tommy. You each have 2 minutes to answer this. Sorry, I didn't tell our timekeeper how long to set our watch there, her clock.
Okay, that would take roughly 3 hours, so it's very short. The city of PURYEAR definitely, there would be some major cleanup for the city as far as residential yards, city property, the whole 9 yards. That's been my platform for the last 2 years. There's a lot of major room for improvement. We need more housing. I have at least 6 phone calls a week, people looking for rental property in PURYEAR. We have a business right here in PURYEAR that's been willing to help produce that, and they've been shut down. That shouldn't happen, and it won't happen. I would like to see the community get more involved in these things. People think the city center owns a lot of money. City of PURYEAR is not rich, and all these things cost money that we're talking about doing. They would have to be money appropriated for this, so it's not something that's going to happen to whoever's in office. It won't happen in a month. It won't happen in 6 months. You know, there's problems that happen in a year, and it's not going to be solved in a year. It's going to take time to do it, but you've got to start something to get it finished. Thank you.
Okay, I agree with Mr. Tommy. I believe that there's some areas of the city that needs cleaning. I think we ought to maybe offer to help, maybe put out some trash dumpsters or help them to clean it up one time. Maybe they'll keep it clean from then on, or arrange stuff in a little more better. And I know it all takes money, and I don't know about the city of Puryear's finances, but they probably, like all other little cities, don't have much or a penny. So, any help that from the community, I think, would be greatly appreciated, and I think that's all we all do, just pitch in and help.
I've been all over this town. I see all, but I don't see nobody bothering all. One or two, but not all. You can't bother one or two. You got to do it all. I look down the alley. I look at the front porch. I look at the back porch. I look everywhere. So now what are we going to do? You can't do it in 6 months like he says. You can't do it in a year. And some people that are doing something are being watched just like a chicken hawk. Now, there will be repercussions from all of this. I guarantee you, when this starts to making people do the things that you want them to do, there will be repercussions. And some of them, I don't want to be in front of them when they repercussion. And I don't think you would either.
Well, I pretty much agree with everything Tommy had to say about what needs to be done. And like he said, it ain't going to happen in a month or 6 months or a year. It takes a lot of money. And the city, like most cities, we don't have a lot of money here. I don't know if everybody realizes most of the city's income comes off of property tax and sales tax. And, we're not that big. There are grants available for some things, and we have applied for those when I worked here in the past. But I pretty much what everything Tommy said, I believe that's where we need to head.
I'm the shortest candidate, so I'll stand. Well, my biggest strength is organization, so I would like to help the future mayor to be organized in how we do things here. For instance, a lot of people, when I was walking door to door, told me that their culverts hadn't been cleaned out for a while and that they needed those done. And so I would like to suggest like a regular schedule to do that on an annual basis so your front yards don't get flooded every time we have a heavy rain. I also would like to see organization in how we're doing the new water lines so that everybody here knows when and where and how it will happen on your yard and how your yard will be affected. And I also would like to see us do things like planning things for how we're going to clean up. So there's a plan that everybody can look at. Okay, this month this is going to happen, and we would know that. And then, of course, there will be budgets set aside for that. Yes, we don't have a huge budget, but we can do some things ourselves without a budget, but we can all do some things with a small budget. And there's lots that we can do if our heart is in it. So that would be, I think, my biggest thing. I've been also told that a lot of people are talking about the tornado siren. That was the one biggest thing that people asked about, whether we could have that. And while it is expensive and we don't have a big budget for it, there might be a way we can do it if we are willing to work with a certain kind of manual system, or even something that's a little more maybe not high zoot, maybe not high technical in such a way that will mean that maybe the firefighters will have to be involved. But I have talked to the mayor of Hazel and find out how they do theirs. And I have also talked to the people in Tennessee who make grants for this. And we might have to raise a little money to do it. But if everybody wants it, then I think we can make it happen.
I think ultimately my goal I would like to see during my tenure, if elected, would be, of course, progress and improvement. I agree with what everybody said. There's so many areas that could be cleaned up, so many areas that could be painting done, like you're mentioning the signs, some of these old buildings that look horrible. But I also feel at the same time that we need a fresh backbone in here and somebody that's not scared to go after it and not worry about what's going to happen if you do go after cleanup and everything else. And I'm willing to be that guy.
I'm going to stop and ask a question of Matt. I heard, and I don't have this, I may be way off base. I heard the Lions Club may be working on the possibility of having a cleanup day with some big dumpster to take in metal to recycle or something, and it wasn't going to cost the city a dime. All right, no. I think that now to me that sounds wonderful. When you do something like that, invariably, not all the residents are going to do it right, and there'll be some trash around and all. Is the Lions Club going to take responsibility for policing around that dumpster for because if that would need board approval and maybe for a trial, okay, we'll let you put it there for 2 weeks. And if the Lions Club doesn't do a good job policing and cleaning up around that thing, the board's going to say no more. So are y'all going to police that and keep it clean and all? I'm sorry. Absolutely. Sounds great. But Lions Club, if you come up with it, you'd be the responsible group. Yeah. Yeah. So that the city government doesn't have to come along and clean up the area or something like that. Yeah. I hope y'all can pursue that. I mean, that sounds wonderful to me. I like that sort of thing. But that's up to residents of Puryear. Y'all like that? You can offer your support with the Lions Club to some volunteers, some whatever. Make sure that the board, mayor, aldermen are satisfied that everything will be taken care of and kept clean and all that. So I think that's great. Sorry, that was just a little. That was another. That was an unplanned rant on my part. For some reason, I thought Matt was still the president, so sorry about that. Okay, thank you. I apologize. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Next question for our candidates. The city budget includes carryover funds from one year to the next that accumulate in what I call the drug fund and the road fund. It may have different official names in the budget. I don't know. What could and should these funds be used for? What can you use drug funds for if you know? If anybody knows, law enforcement might know. And what about the road fund? Can it be used for besides paving is the main thing you save up money in a road fund for? Can it also be used to help in maintaining street signs, sidewalks, easements, storm drains, in addition to paving streets? I don't know. And you only have 1 minute to answer this one, okay? And I think I start this time with Kenny. I think Tommy answered the first one. If I got that wrong, sorry. Okay.
Like I said a while ago, I'm sure about the budgets,
Yeah.
but I'd be glad to try to work with them and try to work out what we could do to improve the roads or side ditches, easements, the signs, just whatever it would take to make it a little better place for everybody.
You'd be able to find out all that stuff, wouldn't
Yes,
you?
sir.
Okay.
Be willing to.
All right. Thank you. Tommy?
Okay, the drug fund that you're speaking of goes through the police department. It has to be spent through the police department on things. It can a wide range of things, but it has to go back into something fighting the drug problem.
Right.
It can be used for vehicles, supplies, anything of that nature. The road fund that you're speaking of, to my knowledge, Puryear didn't have one, but it could be used on anything pertaining to the road. It could be culverts, road sign, hangover brush, blocking views, anything of that nature.
Okay. Thank you. And the drug fund cannot be used for on recurring expenses like salaries, I believe. Is that right? Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. Yes. Alderman, we're ready for Dale. I think. Yeah, Dale.
I don't know how much money we got on this drug fund and this, that, and another, but it needs to be spent wisely on the community, for the community, that would help the people in the community, like you said. Now, I rode around this town, and there are bushes on the edges of street corners, and you cannot see around them. I've had, when I was applying for my paper for running, I had all kinds of people complaining about that. People running stop signs. You got to stop this stop sign. I got a stop sign, and I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 will not stop. Will not stop. And I've got a person that knows me real well. I don't know if he looks down the street or not, but he should agree that I watch them, and they sometimes turn on 2 wheels.
Yes.
So I have asked about speed bumps. I got turned down. I asked about watching the speed limit, and I've got turned down. So now we got to get together.
All right. Ricky.
Like Tommy said, the drug fund that has to stay with the police department to be used for all such stuff as that. The road fund, we used to call that when I was here State Street Aid Fund.
Yeah.
Which could be used for repaving and stuff. And I believe the city has to pay for the street lights out of the State Street Aid Fund too. I don't know. We used to get quite a bit of money out of that years ago. I don't know how much is coming in to the State Street Aid Fund anymore.
The drug fund needs to be used by our current law enforcement to battle any problems that we have. And I know that there are some with drugs in the area. I talked to the young woman at the mini mart, and she would like some help, some occasional surveillance or some occasional help when she feels a little bit alone at the mini mart in the evenings. And of course, these funds need to be designated and organized ahead of time to say that this is what we're using it for, so that everybody knows what the money is used for. And the same with the road fund. What is it designated for? Whatever it's designated for in the budget that's been approved needs to be used for that infrastructure.
I'm going to have to agree with Kenny on this one. I don't know much about the budget either, as I'm new to this, but that is something that I am willing to learn and willing to do my part to make sure that the money is spent where it needs to be spent at. And once again, I mean, it's going to be a learning process, but I think if we all get in there and work together, we can make some changes with it.
Right. Okay. The annual state financial audit is recommended for years separating some of the duties involving city accounting transactions. And there's just not enough money to usually that's been devoted to hiring somebody to help Verla with that. Verla's probably got that all on her own. Luckily, that's a wonderful person to have if you're the only person doing it. But audits don't see it that way. It's always best to have duties divided up. I mean, among at least two people. And so for the future, is it possible to hire a part-time help to ease Verla's burden, to help with that, with the auditor's thing, and ease Verla's burden and satisfy and satisfy all these rules and regulations? Could we get, I don't know if I don't know if you could have as little as a few hours a day. And I've heard that Verla may be training somebody now. Trainee or hi, okay. Tommy's daughter-in-law. hold that against him. Yeah. Okay. Yes. That's something that I think is needed. And I was going to ask each of y'all. So already the board of mayor and aldermen have been reacting to that and helping with that situation.
Verla does have a full-time employee now that she's training to help her.
Somebody anonymously. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is there? I'll just ask: Is everybody okay? Is that something everybody supports? And do you have any comments?
From what I understand from the position of recorder, at this point, they don't no longer handle the taxation part of things. That's been given to the state or to the county, I guess it would be.
The county.
The county.
Yes. That's going to help a lot. Yeah.
So our town of Puryear does not create any tax forms or collect taxes. That's done by the county. So the recorder position is to record minutes and to make sure that those are dispersed and that, a secretary for a board of directors would do. So there's that part. But yes, Verla does have some wonderful help in Stacy, and we're so glad she's there.
Yeah. All right. Yes. Yeah. 98.
I'll answer that question real quick too. All of that has been accounted for and being done. You got one person counting the money and balancing the books, and then Stacy makes the deposit.
Excellent. I'm glad that auditor's finding will go away. Finally. Yes. So, so thank you very much, current board of mayor and aldermen, for handling that. Thank you so much. Okay. Time for another rant. Okay, Tennessee has a sunshine or open meetings law, as well as a public records law. These protect all citizens, requiring government meetings to be open, with no secret votes allowed, government records to be available for inspection, and much more. The agenda's got to be put up now. Since last year, the agenda's got to be made available to the public 48 hours before the meeting. So everybody should be able to find to find out, or hopefully they're working on it if it hadn't been done, because that was passed last year in the state legislature. So that agenda, so you need to know what's going on in your government, and that's going to help. That agenda there tells you what's going to be happening Tuesday night at the meeting. And 48 hours before is Sunday afternoon. So I assume Verla would have that up somewhere, posted by Friday afternoon before she leaves. But anyway, Sunshine Law says it's, quote, the policy of this state that the formation of public policy and decisions is public business and shall not be conducted in secret. So I always encourage new office holders to conduct all their business in the open, no secrets, and don't, and as an aside, don't start meetings early before the announced time. If you're supposed to start at 5:30 and the board is there by 5:25, don't start then. Wait till 5:30. There may be a citizen coming in just a minute or two before it starts. Right, Dale? And so if it's going to start, if you post it, it's going to start at 5:30. Start it at 5:30. How hard is it for y'all to make a 5:30 board of mayor and alderman meeting? Is most everybody able to go do that? Do y'all work and not able to get there by 5:30? What happens? Okay. Right. The code calls the PURYEAR municipal code calls for a 7:00 meeting, and that has not been changed. So if you want to meet at 5:30 or 6 or whatever, the code needs to be updated. If not, 7:00 is the best time. It may not be as convenient for the board of mayor and aldermen, but if that's the most convenient time for the citizens of the town, that's the best thing to do. Okay. End of my rant too. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. Dale. Before 48 hours before the meeting starts. I don't know. Okay. I don't know, but that's something to work on. That may be just the way things slowly. Tommy, you have anything to do with that? Not a thing to do with that. I thought so. Yeah. 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 Well. Yeah. The state law now says, as of last year, as of July 1 last year, I think it was, that the agenda for your upcoming meeting has to be available to the public 48 hours in advance. Just the agenda, what you're planning on talking about in this meeting. Here's the things that we're planning on talking about. Now, it may have an item on this agenda, so if the public citizens forum is often at the beginning of the meeting where everybody's got 1 or 2 minutes to speak, and sometimes that can lead to setting aside the agenda and actually the board talking about that. Yeah, that's something we need to do. We need to do it tonight and set aside the agenda. Yeah. Oh, okay. He's asking about does the financial report, if they're going to talk about the financial report, does it have to be available before the meeting? And that is no. That is the document. A lot of the documentation does not, by law, have to be distributed to the public in advance. But the general agenda, we are going to talk about our budget tonight.
Then can I see the minutes after the meeting of what the money was?
Not right after a meeting, because they have said in courts that you have to give the government employees time to get up and to prepare the meeting, to prepare the minutes.
Right.
And it needs to be very clear if a lot of places will go ahead and put out minutes that are not approved yet by the board. These are unapproved minutes to be submitted to the board. The board may say, no, that's not what happened. This needs to be changed. So the official minutes aren't done until the following meeting when they approve the minutes. Is one of the items they do in the agenda, and that'll be listed in the agenda that they're going to approve the minutes, and that's when they become official, and that's when when most places like people to get it is once it's official.
Okay.
There's absolutely no problem, the courts have said, with putting out an unofficial one 3 days after the meeting or whatever, but you got to give them time to prepare these things. I don't expect Verla to stay a couple hours at City Hall after the meeting and type up the minutes so we can have them by.
Okay, I agree. But what about something? Let's just give a hypothetical. They sell the city airplane and they sell it for $10,000 and there's never a word mentioned about it. Where's that at?
Yeah. That would be that'd be a problem that the new board of mayor and aldermen would need to address. Is the best thing I'd say. I don't want to pick on the current board or past boards.
No, I just asked a hypothetical question.
Yeah. That precious airplane that I want to keep. No. Okay. PURYEAR has no official website. It does have a Facebook page, but it only has 44 posts since the beginning of 2022. That's more than 2.5 years. 44 posts. That's not much. PI website, I get a lot more than 44 posts each Thursday when the paper comes out. That's people going to your site and looking at things, but also posting comments and things like that. So the city needs a web page where the public can obtain information on PURYEAR, can learn about its monthly board meetings and their agendas, contact information on relevant officials. It would need to list the mayor and how do I get hold of him or her, an alderman or alderwoman. How can I find them? If I've got something I want to discuss with them, what's the best way to do that? Here's the phone numbers and website and email addresses, but most of them prefer you do it by email, and that's fine. Whatever. But there needs to be a dedicated internet site for the city of PURYEAR to communicate with the public. Now, if the city needs a couple of volunteers, this word keeps coming up, volunteers, folks, to create and maintain a website, PURYEAR Strong is offering to find a couple of residents willing to help create and maintain a website. It would not have to be something that Verla is going to have to do, or whoever a future city recorder is, or whatever. And you would obviously want the mayor and the city recorder and all the aldermen to have access to be able to add their own things to this website. Tommy shouldn't. If Tommy's an alderman right now, he shouldn't have to ask, go find a citizen to be able to put something on the website. He ought to have the information on a sheet of paper that tells him how to get that on the website. Then you can ask your grandkids to help you with that. Yeah. Okay. Candidates, you each have 2 minutes to respond to these website comments, and I'll start this time with Tommy's ahead of me. Very good.
That's not going to take me but a minute to answer, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit and add something to it. Earlier
All right.
question. The city owns approximately 55 acres over here in what we call industrial park. One of my goals would also be to see it split in half with a road where we could actually divide it up and attract businesses to come to Puryear. But to do that, Puryear is going to have to be presentable, and they're going to have to want to come. Now, to answer your question, Verla's a whole lot like myself. She wasn't born in this internet cyber world, but we do have Stacy, 23-year-old, as sharp as a tack when it comes to computers, and her dad is a computer programmer, and we've actually discussed this, and it's something that I see happening.
Now,
I'd be all for internet exposure or whatever. I ain't real computer oriented, but I can learn. But I think it'd be a good idea for be more apt to be able to get information out and in, and vice versa between the board or the citizens and all. So I think it'd be a good idea.
okay. All the way down to Mark. Pass right by Dale. Yeah. Yeah.
I also believe the website would be a great idea. Of course, I also understand why it's not up and going. That's just like the Puryear Fire Department. You know, everything that's posted about it, we do it ourselves. So I totally understand the need for volunteers. But like they said, there's one sitting back there at a picnic table that'd be real good at taking care of a website. But I do agree that it would be a great idea. Not that Puryear Strong and residents of Puryear pages ain't great, but that would just be another outlet to let more info get out there.
Absolutely. Rena.
I totally agree. We need a website. Absolutely. When somebody new comes to this town, and do you know how many people I've met in the last few weeks who are new to Puryear? I've met people that have been here 4 months. There's 2 guys who are neighbors who arrived here the same day, 4 months ago. Interesting. But there's people from Texas, from California, from Paris, from Paducah, Canada, all over the place. People are here in Puryear. And when they want to find out information about Puryear, where do they go to look? There is no website. I might be a grandma, but I have designed websites. I am in the cyber age. I'm sorry,
Right.
I am. So I do a lot of social media, and I am good at it. And I know that you can do it inexpensively, right? And you don't have to spend $20,000 to hire a company to do it. We have
Right.
people right here who can do it. And if they want any additional help, I'm happy to do that.
Right.
Well, I agree with everybody else. I mean, a website. Oh, that's right. I'm agreeable to that. A website would be a very good thing for the city because, like everybody said, there is a Facebook page, but there's not a whole lot on there. People need to know a little bit more about us.
Yeah.
Some pictures of old downtown would look really nice as far as your page on it.
Mhm.
And Stacy, you may need a raise after all this is done.
Very true with computers. I am not computer smart at all, but I can watch it being done, and I can learn a little.
There you go.
And as you say, the people from far off, if they've got the ability to come into our website and look and enjoy what they see and want to make connection, contact, come visit, that's what we need.
Yeah. Thank you. And hang on to the microphone there, Dale. I'm going to start you on the next question. As somebody who attends a lot of meetings, I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask Tommy Roberts as a current alderman, how do residents, you may or may not know this, Dale, because you're not an alderman, but how do Puryear residents communicate to the board of mayor and alderman something they would like to be discussed in an upcoming meeting? I want to come to the meeting and I want to talk about this. Do you just show up? Do you, if it's going to be an agenda in 48 hours in advance, you've got to give them notice that you're coming. Tell them I'm going to come. I'd like to come and address the board, and this is the topic I want to talk about. Is there a procedure for doing that that's in place now, or is that something that is needed?
I hate to give you bad news, but all the people that I have talked to while I was trying to get my petition signed, they're afraid to come to the meeting.
Okay.
They are afraid. I'm not.
Yeah.
They know I've been there for 3 years.
I was hearing him.
Okay. Now, as you say, if you put it on the computer and the people of the town want to read it and see that there's something good on there that they want to come see. Now, of the 3 years, one time there was like 19 or 20 people up there complaining about the graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
When they got the graveyard solved, every one of them gone. I kept coming. I want to see what the town's going to do. I like to see it go forward, but I wanted to see it go in a positive attitude. Positive attitude.
There you go.
But like I said, I talked to a woman just a few days ago, and she asked me a question, and I said, I will do it for you. She said, I'm afraid to go up there account of repercussion. And it ain't one.
Yeah.
It's a bunch. This town has got these people. I ain't never seen nothing like it. But I want to see something good come about. Now, I don't like to see people mistreated, though.
Right. Either side.
So that's my point,
Either side.
my viewpoint, right there.
All right. Tommy.
Well, I have to say, I've been in Puryear for a lot of years now, and I've yet to meet a citizen in Puryear that come across to me as scared of anything. But they need to be educated on what the aldermen are for. If you can't be at a meeting, the alderman should be your spokesman at that meeting. If you got a concern about something going on in Puryear, you should be talking to your alderman, any 4 of them. They're not associated with districts here in the city.
Right.
You can go to any of them. If you got a problem, if they don't bring it up at the meeting, then that'll be dealt with in other ways. But they're your spokesman at that meeting. If you got a problem with something going on, go to them, talk to them about it. If they don't do no good, go to the mayor. You know, you'll get answers and you'll get cooperation from somebody from city government. I don't believe, and like I said, I've never met one that was scared of anything, but you need to be educated on what the aldermen are for, and a lot of people don't realize that. You don't have to be at a meeting. You're more than welcome to be at a meeting. It would tickle me to death to go in a meeting next month and there'd be 300 people sitting there. I'd be ecstatic. But if we understand that there's times that everybody can't be there, but use your alderman for what they're there for.
Thank you. That's one of the reasons I said something about on the website being able to contact your alderman, because a lot of people don't like standing up in front of a microphone or standing up and talking to people, and it may have nothing to do with they may be afraid of doing that more than they're afraid of repercussions or whatever. But yeah, if they know how to get hold of you, that's what you're there for. You know, that's what. All right. Now, the next question's for everybody. The Tennessee Department of Transportation has approved expansion of Highway 641 to 5 lanes between Paris and Hazel. That's 5 lanes coming right through Puryear right now in just a few years, gobbling up front yards, parking lots. I'm talking about 641, parking lots, etc. Candidates, what are your thoughts, the good and the bad, on this road expansion? And you each have 1 minute to respond. And since Tommy just talked, I'll start with Kenny again.
my view of it is that it will help her. It just take a little. It's going to be a big mess for a while.
Yeah.
But if it was to go around for you, it'd be like Henry, it just
That's right.
completely die. So I'm all for it, and I'll do what I could to help.
Now to Tommy. It's mayor. Sorry. Get a mayoral candidates first. Yeah. There you go. Good old what's your face? Yeah.
You know, I've talked to people with different opinions both ways, in Puryear and out of Puryear. My personal opinion is it needs to go through downtown Puryear to keep Puryear thriving. My understanding also, this is something that's not going to take place to 2029,
Right.
5 years down the road. So that
That's a good guess.
it started out three lanes, went to 5 lanes, back down to 3 lanes, and now it's back up to 5 lanes again. So 5 years is a long time, a lot could change.
Yeah. All right. Go to Mark this time. No, wait a minute. Mark was last. I don't remember. Sorry, Dale. Dale got to talk last time. Yeah. Mark.
Okay, I do agree as well that the highway coming through town. As somebody who used to work in Henry, it looks like a ghost town now that the road goes around it. So I really don't think we want our little town looking like that. And I would be okay with the 3 lane even if they was going to do that. But I do agree it needs to come through town.
Well, I this week spoke to the project manager for this project, and he has told me in a 3 or 4 page email with maps that he has a design team. He's fairly new to this project, but he has a design team that will be starting next month, October of 2024, to start designing it. They're waiting for all those surveyors' reports that we've seen all over town, right?
Right.
So it is going to be 5 lanes. It is going to be 60 feet across and with 8-foot shoulders, and it is going to go straight through Puryear. That is their plan. They've already worked the plan. They've talked to the owners from Howard Road to the state line, and now from Howard Road to Smith Road, it will be taking place in 2029. So I have a lot of information if you want to know more about it, but that's their plan. They're just in the process of starting. They'll give us more information. Next summer, we will have a meeting with their whole team for all the affected people.
And another good thing about it coming through town is that they will have to put in curbs and gutters, which is going to greatly enhance our drainage issues that we have had here for years and years and years. Yeah. Like everybody knows, you know, we're sitting in one of the highest levels in the county, and we're also in a bowl.
Right.
So nothing drains here, but yeah, that should help us tremendously when they do that.
Yeah. And sidewalks, yes.
This 5 lane should hopefully bring a little bit of businesses that would, if they could buy property on the side of the road today, if the people are not too greedy about selling their land. There's going to be the problem, getting the people to sell the land. You can't sell the land at $10,000 a square inch and expect a man to put a hamburger joint in. You can't do that. But I agree. We do need the 5 lane. We need these companies to come in, because then they'll have the road access to get in here and get out. And it'll help the workers. I mean, maybe better paying jobs and stuff of that nature. That's what we need.
Okay. Candidates, would you be willing to work with someone in the community if we can get voluntarily put in the effort to research and write a grant application for special projects such as a new sewer system, Ricky, or a tornado siren, I think it was Reno talked about tornado siren. Those two big things that grants help with. But grants frequently fund a large portion of a project, but not all of it. You still have to come up with your match. If you're lucky, it's 20%. If you're real lucky, it's 90-10, but you still got to come up with a portion of it. Would you be willing to fund the difference of a grant and any fundraisers that will yield for a special project, or hold a special hearing and even talk to the city residents about if they want a possible assessment, or borrowing money to be paid back over several years? Grant proposals. Grants are a great way to stretch your dollar if you can have somebody do the grant writing right, and it can really help. So candidates, you're going to have what did I say? I think you got 2 minutes on that. Nope. Sorry, 1 minute. 1 minute. We're going to start with we'll start with Kenny.
Well, of course, I'd be willing to any kind of grant or whatever they do to help the budget, increase the budget, better off, help people in Puryear get to do better off their homes or businesses or properties or whatever. I'm all for trying to get grants and loans or whatever it takes.
Okay. Down to Tommy. And then down to Mark.
To answer that question, of course I would. The longer version of it is City of Puryear applies for grants every year. We've applied for sewer grants for the last 5 years that I know of. Applying for them and getting them is two entirely different things. When we start talking about
Got that right.
needing something, everybody starts hollering grants. We apply for grants. Every year we apply for several grants. But like I said, applying for them and getting them is two different things, and we have professionals do the paperwork and file for us. We did get a fire department grant this year, it's the first one that we've ever gotten for the fire department.
Okay.
I do agree with the grants as well. Like he was talking about the fire department, we did receive a good grant this year from the Tennessee State Fire Marshals, and it was nice to be able to get new turnout gear and new air packs and everything we needed. So yes, I'm all for the grants, but at the same time, I also understand having to watch the budget and watching the grants because of the ones that you do have to match. Some of them are not so friendly as some of the, some of them might be an 80-20, but some of them might be a 50-50. So, but yes, I am all for the grants.
Grants are kind of a double-edged sword. I do know because I have written quite a few successful grant proposals. And I say successful ones because we were able to put an elevator in a church that in a town where there was no elevator at all, and a few other things like that. But grants, you have to write them well, and you have to be able to speak government speak. And I am a writer. That's kind of been my profession for many years, and I would love to help to write grants, successful grant proposals.
Like Tommy said, the city has applied for grants upon grant. Before I left, we had applied for a sewer rehab grant. We got turned down. The last major grant we got for infrastructure was when we built our new treatment plant. We got an emergency grant for that. But yes, I would be more than willing to work with anybody to help with our grants. A lot of that depends on they want to look at based on your need, your population of your citizens. A lot of things go into that before they'll turn the money loose to you.
Right.
The fire department that I'm associated with got a $45,000 grant last year, no payback at all. None.
100% grant.
We bought turnout gear for the whole community of our fire department, and we've got 2 fire stations. Now, talking about the siren for the tornadoes. Seems like it's been about 4 months ago. We had a meeting over here, it might have been longer. A guy come in and was trying to sell the city here a siren. It was $75,000 plus about a $7,500 a year maintenance on the upkeep of the thing. And I heard no more about it, but it has been talked about.
Okay.
And that's all I know about that part there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, finally, last question. And it's really not a question, but candidates, we tried to throw a lot at you in the limited time we had tonight. And after what we presented and discussed this evening, I want to give each of you an opportunity to express any closing comments you would like to relay to the residents and businesses of Puryear. And you will each have 2 minutes to respond to that. And we're back to Tommy first now. Then to Kenny, then to Dale. 2 minutes.
First off, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to participate in this tonight. The questions were nowhere near as tough as I was anticipating. But I would like to say that I would love to be the next mayor of Puryear. I understand it's an election and it is what it is. What happens, happens. But I would appreciate your vote very much. My pledge is to do the best that I can do for Puryear. I'll continue doing that. I've done it in the past, and I'll continue to do that regardless of what the outcome will be. But I have high hopes, great expectations for Puryear. It's been there in the past, and I know it can continue to grow, attract businesses, and be what we all know it can be.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right.
Like Mr. Roberts said, I appreciate everybody coming out here tonight and showing you support and asking us questions that might not have been asked or even thought about, but I would like to expend my thanks to everyone who maybe would consider voting for me, and I will try to do anything and everything that I can to try to upgrade Puryear. Thank you.
Dale.
Yes, I'd like to appreciate everyone that did show up. A lot of you, I didn't get to see you when I was walking from house to house because it sure was hot. And we just need to, like I say, go forward. If you'll go and vote, I would really like to see a lot of you come to the town meetings on the second Tuesday of every month. We're supposed to start at 5:30. And we don't last very long, 15 minutes to 30 minutes, if you can spare that much time. And you might learn something. You might have some questions. You might help the city. And that's what we need. We need everybody's help, not just the aldermans. And I believe all the aldermans would make pretty good aldermans, and mayors would be pretty good mayors. Let's go forward.
Well, I too like to thank everybody for being here and for allowing us to present our views to you and for the good questions that we've had. And I also would appreciate your consideration when it comes time to vote on November the 5th. Puryear did used to be kind of the diamond of the small cities of the county, and I think we could get there again.
We hung up. There we go.
Well, thank you, Puryear Strong, and Lori and Lauren. I know this is personal sacrifice for you to do this tonight, and we thank you. I want to say that I am excited about the future of Puryear. I really am. It's a good little town, and we can make it even better. Doesn't mean we have to have big factories or a big mall or anything, but we can make the most of what we do have. And we've got some really good people here. We've got some great churches who have kids clubs. We've got a great school at the south end of town. You know, there's things here that we can build on. And I think that we could have, like Mark said, a really positive city council, because there are some good things. And I know that if you see the future and see the plans that some of the people here tonight have expressed, that you can be excited about Puryear. You know, I was reading the history of Puryear, and it said that we used to be the sweet potato hub of the South. And, you know, I know there's a building right across here, I think, where they used to bring tobacco or sweet potatoes to be taken to market. You know, there's things that we could build on, and we could become, you know, the sweet potato hub again, or at least the sweet spot in the South. So I'd like to see that happen. I have some fresh ideas. I'd love to work with these guys here and make Puryear really the best that it can be, because I really see its potential, and I've met so many wonderful people here. It's a great place to retire, and I just look forward to what's going to happen next. And so I just want to say thank you.
I would like to say thank you all for coming out as well. Thanks to the other candidates for coming out here tonight. Lori, thank y'all for putting this together and giving us the chance to come out here and voice our thoughts and opinions. I do think that it's going to take a partnership, and it's going to take everybody working together, but I do think Puryear can grow again. I'm willing to put my foot forward, and you know, that's one thing they teach us is in fire is you never leave your partner, especially in a fire. So I'm willing to go to bat with you guys, and let's battle these fires, and I hope to earn your vote on November.
Last rant of the night, I promise. I'd like to offer a couple of suggestions to Puryear Strong. Like any other city government or board of mayor and aldermen, Puryear's is far from perfect, but they are not your adversary. They need to be your best ally to get projects approved and problems solved. Don't go to a meeting there and say, "You lousy bums, you're not doing anything up there. Get busy." That's not going to get any cooperation. That's not going to help your cause. Let's remember our Christian attitudes. And I remember in the 70s the bracelet, the WWJD. What would Jesus do, or what would Jesus desire? You know, think about that when you're talking. You know, you need to work with the board, win them over with kindness. Some problems can only be handled by the board, but the vast majority can get accomplished much faster by supplying volunteers to assist. There's that word again, volunteers, Puryear. If board and city government alone had to handle just the issues we've mentioned tonight, city taxes would go sky high. But if the city residents are willing to pitch in and help, Puryear would be cleaner, even more beautiful. Residents would know exactly what's going on in their town, and their taxes would remain reasonable. So both Puryear Strong and the citizens of Puryear, please think about that. Now, before we go, I'd like to introduce the Puryear area's new county constable, the District 1 county constable, Chad Farthing. I'm going to ask him to come up and he wants to make a few comments.
Okay. I'm not up for election. I got elected back in August. I recognize some of you from signing my petition. Like I told you then, you don't have to vote for me, just give me a chance. I hear a lot tonight about volunteering. Okay. The constable makes $0. He gets paid absolutely nothing. The only time a constable gets paid is if he serves papers. That's it. But I've talked to your police chief, I've talked to the Henry County Sheriff, and I want to help and volunteer myself for the community. A little bit about myself. I was born in Paris. My grandfather owned a couple businesses in Paris and Camden. Then we moved to Southern Illinois. I grew up there. It's got about the same values as Northwest Tennessee. Joined the military, security police for almost 7 years. Got out, went to college, got a bachelor's. Then started working for the Department of Veteran Affairs Police Department. Did that for almost 7 years. Then, of course, 9/11 happened, and I joined the Air Marshal Service. Worked with them for 23 years. Finally retired, last, I guess, about 4 years. My wife, Carolyn, we've been married 27 years. So if she can put up with me, you folks can put up with me. Because I'm much more taxing on her than I am the general public. I've got 4 boys. Youngest 2 are still in the Air Force. But we drove through here, I don't know, probably once or twice a year for about 6 years. In fact, we almost bought a piece of property right there. Looked at a couple of the pieces around here and finally found a spot in Como. Now I retired, moved down here. Like I said, the constable, really, it costs you folks nothing. I'll work with the sheriff, I'll work with your police chief, and just try and do the stuff to help give them an extra tool, you know. Let me direct traffic while they go serve and do whatever they do, you know. And like I said, it doesn't cost you folks anything, absolutely nothing, you know. So I just wanted to kind of introduce myself and let you know that, you know, I'm here to help. Just let me know when and where. And if you've got any questions for me, ask me or let me know or whatever. And I'll work with you as best I can. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
No problem. You have a good night.
Thanks again to all our candidates for being here tonight. And thank you for everyone who showed up here to meet them. You got any questions for any of them? Feel free to go up and introduce and talk to them and find out more information. And everybody, early voting begins October 16, and election day is November 5. So be sure to vote. Now, we've talked a lot about volunteering tonight. Here's your first chance. We need help carrying tables and chairs back over to the community center. If you can volunteer to help out with that, we would appreciate it. Everybody have a great night. Yes. Oh. Mrs. Taylor.
How many of you here tonight will vote because you're a property? We do not live in the city of Purry, but we own property in the city of Purry, so we get to vote. How many other people do not own property or do not live in the city but own property in the city? Okay, you have to go get paperwork at the election commission. You already done it. Okay, and file that. They'll send you a ballot that's an absentee. Didn't used to be done this way. This is the first time it's ever been done this way. And so you fill out your absentee and it has to be mailed in. So if you haven't done that, you better do it. I've already done mine. We've done ours. But I found that out last week. I guess Kenny was telling me. I said, oh, I've always voted. Well, it's changed this year. Yeah, I've already taken care of it.
Okay. Yeah. So anybody, if you know anybody who owns property in Puryear and doesn't live here, spread the word. Make sure they can vote. It's very important to be able to vote. You know, it's nothing worse than getting someplace and you're turned away. You can't vote. Yes. All right. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. Thank you for your participation. Have a great evening.